right, welcome back, everybody, to the interview section where I interview people with strong mindsets. All right, y'all already know me. So before we begin, welcome to the stage of history. I am your illustrious host, Kevin Uncanny Anytime. And check out my beautiful, beautiful guest here with a travel mindset, trying to expand your minds on some travel stuff today. Nupur Unchained. And before I talk about how we got together on this, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. First of all, Kevin, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so grateful to be here. My name is Nupur. I have a page on Instagram called Nupur Unchained, where I explore the ways that mental health and travel align. And I've recently stumbled upon the awesome concept of growth mindset. So I teach growth mindset via travels on my page.
That is really, really cool. And so is it just Instagram? Are you just on Instagram?
I am for now. Yes, I am definitely exploring different platforms because I have recently realized that Instagram is changing so much. It's like rivalry with TikTok, right? Like one day it's
Right.
photographs and then the next day it's reels. And I'm like, well, I can't keep up. So it's definitely a challenge, and it's a great challenge to have, but it doesn't mean that that is going to be my future. I'm definitely looking for ways that I can pivot my audience into maybe a different kind of blog or a different kind of platform.
Got you. All right. Well, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's talk, man. To be honest, y'all, I was picking her brain behind the scenes before we even started because the way that we met is I came across, I don't know if you liked one of my posts or something like that, but I came across your content and I was like, whoa, hold on. Like the travels, first of all, the edits, because I'm an editor, and I'm like, this is okay, this is different. And it was mixed with mindset. And I was like, okay, I haven't touched this yet. I haven't touched this area uh to be able to speak to traveling and actually utilizing that to be able to talk about mindset on top of it. So please explain to everybody what that's about. What does that mean?
So, travel is right now being used as a medium to really talk about mental health and mindset. So, back during the 2020, like beginning of 2020, when the pandemic started, I realized that I couldn't travel anymore, but I have so many stories to share. And so, I decided to embark upon this blog on Instagram. And back then, it was just a travel blog where I talked about, okay, I went here and I did this, and I went here and I did this, and these are the spots to see. And while that's great, I slowly started realizing that Instagram is saturated with travel pages. I mean, there's thousands and thousands, probably millions of pages out there that only talk about travel. So what
Mhm.
really sets me apart? And so that's when I found my instructor. Her name is Christina Galbato. So Christina Galbato is a very successful influencer on Instagram, and she has a course called the Influencer Bootcamp. And I started taking that course, and I slowly started learning that one of the most important things about blogging on Instagram is finding your sub niche. So you have a niche. For me, it's travel. But what about travel do you love the most? What is it? Food? Is it nightlife? Is it culture? Is it history? There's so many things about travel that you can talk about on your blog, and you should try to focus on one or maybe two things, because when you split your focus on so many different things, you don't really you basically start losing sight of your vision. And
Mhm.
so if you really want to drive your blog towards a certain direction, you should really try to pick a sub niche. And so that's when I came across mental health, and I started learning a little bit more about the ways that mental health aligns with travel. How can travel effectively help improve your mental health, your mental well-being, things like that. So the more I learned about it, the more I realized, it really does affect me. It has affected me. Travel has affected me positively. It's affected my health positively. I've traveled my whole life. It's a big part of who I am, mainly because it has improved my outlook on the world and things like that. So I picked my sub niche, and so that's how my mental health and travel page began. And then once I started diving into mental health, that's when I realized, mental health is really broad too. There's so many
Yeah.
things about mental health you can talk about. You can talk about pain
Hmm.
and trauma. You can talk about mindfulness. You can talk about meditation. You can talk about professional growth, personal growth. I mean, relationships, like you name it. So that's when I started really digging deep into mental health. What part of it do I really want to talk about? What part of it do I really want to focus on in my blog? Because I can't learn everything. It's not humanly possible to be an expert on the entire genre. So
Yeah.
I picked one thing to be an expert on, or try to become an expert on, and that is when I stumbled upon growth mindset. I realized that I am a leader in my own profession, and there's a lot of science behind growth mindset, and I used to be a scientist. So it just all kind of came full circle for me. I started realizing that growth mindset is great for my professional development, but not only that, it's great for my personal development. And that's a huge part of mental health, and it's a huge part of why I travel. So everything sort of kind of fit together. And I started on this journey just this year, actually. I just started focusing on growth mindset this year. I started taking courses on it. I started reading Carol Dweck's awesome book. She's a professor at Stanford. She's a psychologist, Dr. Carol Dweck. She's the one who termed the word growth mindset. And so she wrote a book upon it. And I'm reading that and learning so much. And it's just, honestly, it's been so cathartic, and it's been a huge eye opener for me. It's just
Mm.
honestly changed the way I look at the world, changed the way I behave, changed the way I treat failure and challenges. I welcome them more now. I understand that I'm imperfect. I mean, there's just so many benefits to going on this journey.
So, okay, one thing, you said you were a scientist?
I was a long time ago. Yeah.
I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. No,
Okay.
that's that meme. No, I'm being. If you look down my page, it's this funny meme where it's this the Spider-Man dude said that to Peter Parker. But no, I do say that. I say I'm a scientist of life because I'm like very dove into, just sometimes the basics can be very complex, so I
Yeah.
get really obsessed with stuff sometimes like that. Like you can study leaves for years, you know what I mean, like things like that, to where I'm fascinated with life, period.
Yeah.
So sometimes I call myself a scientist of life. But
Nice.
Nupur Unchained, you gotta, first of all, because that's a whole nother thing. Like that name, I was
Yeah.
like, what? Unchained? Like, okay, we gotta talk. What
Yeah.
is how did you come up with that? What does that mean for you?
I've always been of the mindset, don't let societal values hold you back. And it's it's been a long journey of not letting myself do that, and I'm still working on trying to get rid of all these cultural expectations of
Mm,
you know being who I am. And so that the letting go, the shedding of cultural expectations, societal expectations, that is so enlightening, that is so freeing for me. So that's where Unchained comes from. I'm not chained to anything. I am free. I'm free in knowing that I'm imperfect. That's one of the biggest things. When you know that you're imperfect, when you know that perfection is not something that you are craving, because no one can be, it's humanly impossible to be perfect, right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
when you accept that, when you truly accept the fact that you are full of flaws and you're going to continuously fail until you succeed a little bit, and then you're going to fail again, and then you're going to fail again, and then you're going to succeed just a little bit more. And until you fail and succeed a little bit, fail, 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 succeed a little bit, that's when you start realizing, okay, I'm failing a little bit less, but more importantly, I'm failing better. I'm getting better at failing. And
Yeah.
and because you're getting better at failing, you are getting better at succeeding. You're succeeding a little bit more at a time, a little bit more at a time. Every mountain that you climb is a little bit taller. You get a better view every time, right? So the understanding of being unchained comes from really shedding all of these expectations that society has put on you. Um, all these cultural
Mhm,
stereotypes that we grow
mhm.
up with that tell us, oh, you can only be successful if you go down this route, or you can only be successful this way, or success means getting A's on every single test. And those are very toxic mindsets. And we never really knew how toxic it was when we were growing up with them until very recently, because growth mindset is a very recent modern way of thinking. And in fact, it's so modern that there is such a thing called toxic positivity. There's such a thing called
Mm.
false growth mindset. A lot of people think that they have a great growth mindset, but they actually don't, because the way that they think is very toxic. And so, yeah, it's just the learning of all those concepts, learning about myself, learning about what I truly want my life to be in the future. All of those things put together is what makes up an unchained version of me.
Got you. Okay. All right. You I haven't heard that yet. So you gotta tell me what that's about now. You gotta let me know. Let me in on the toxic positivity. What is that?
Yeah, there's a lot of it. I am actually learning about that in my current course at UC Davis. If you go to UC Davis, I would highly recommend everyone take this course.
Hmm.
UCDavis.com, there's a search for growth mindset. There's an awesome course. So I'm in the section right now where they're talking about limiting beliefs, and they're talking about how toxic positivity can affect you. Toxic positivity is when someone tells you good vibes only, only good vibes welcome here. But that's
Okay.
humanly impossible, right? No one out there only feels good all the time.
Yeah.
There's always a point in our lives where we've hit rock bottom. And if it
Hmm.
hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen, right? There's always times where we feel low. We should allow ourselves to feel low. We should allow ourselves to feel the full human experience. It's a celebration of life. You should celebrate not only the good feelings, the bad feelings too. What makes you who you are. So when someone tells you good vibes only, that's a very toxic mindset, because you're not allowing yourself to feel bad. And when you're pushing aside these kinds of negative feelings, you are basically not allowing yourself to acknowledge that you have such a feeling. And when you
Mm.
don't acknowledge that you have a bad feeling, then you're never going to be able to truly treat it and get rid of it eventually. So it's sort of hindering your growth mindset journey by saying everything is great, everything is positive, positive thoughts only. It's not possible to only have positive thoughts. We're always thinking negative thoughts. It's whether or not you act upon them, that's what matters, and how
Mm-hmm.
you get over that hurdle. How do you treat yourself, treat that bad mindset or bad thought that occurs in your head. That's what truly matters, right? That's what truly makes you who you are, is how
Yeah.
you treat those bad low points in your life. So
Yeah.
that's a huge misconception about growth mindset. It's people paint it as always like a positive journey, but it's not, because growth mindset means you are going to fail more times than you succeed, especially in the beginning. And failure is hard. Let's just not, like, who are we kidding? Like, let's not pretend that failure is not hard. Failure is
Yeah.
really hard. Some people take it better than others because maybe they failed more, but everyone takes failure in a negative way at first until they learn how to take failure in a positive way. And even once you start learning taking failure in a positive way, it's still hard. It's really hard. It's a hard journey. You have to have that hunger, and you have to have that passion to really go down this growth mindset journey. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would tell people, is to make sure that they know that if you're going down the growth mindset journey, whether it's to work on yourself, whether it's to become a better leader in your profession, whether it's to learn a new skill, whatever you're trying to do, and if you're utilizing growth mindset for that journey, know that it's going to be very hard.
Hmm. Okay. Wow. Okay, so let me see because with the positive vibes only, right? To me the other side of that is don't bring negativity around me, right? I think that's what
Yeah,
some of the people mean when they're like, "Hey, positive vibes only," because it's
yeah,
like I don't want to be around the negativity. Um However, like what you were saying though with the no, everything's, oh, it's rainbows. Everything's
Yeah,
so great. It's
yeah,
so great. Like, it's just gonna be great. It's great. It's like
right.
that's what you mean as far as like
Exactly. Yeah,
the toxic positivity, to where it's like, okay, I'm not gonna
yeah,
ever feel any bad. I don't want to
mhm,
feel any bad. And then that
yeah.
trickles you down a path to where when you do end up feeling it, it's like,
You don't know
uh-oh.
how to deal with it. Yeah, exactly. You
Right.
don't know how to deal with it because every place you go to, it's not welcomed, and you should
Right.
welcome it, right? And unfortunately, what you said before, yes, of course, good vibes only. It a lot of people do mean that don't bring any rudeness, be respectful, things like that.
Right.
But
Right.
unfortunately, at least from what I've learned so far, most people don't take it as that. Most people think of it as, I have this really bad feeling. I'm feeling really depressed lately. I shouldn't bring that to this group. I should try to be
Oh,
happy. And
yeah.
that's the toxicity that I'm talking about. If you
Hmm.
are feeling depressed or if you're feeling low, allow yourself to feel low. It's okay to feel low. If you
Hmm.
push those feelings aside, the next time they come up, you won't know how to deal with it. So start now by acknowledging the fact that you have these feelings. Talk to somebody that might help. There's so many ways to go around it. You can work on yourself in different ways, but acknowledge it. That's the first step, is to acknowledge the fact that, okay, I see a pattern here. Every time I hear this or I go through this, it's a trigger, and it sets something off in my brain, and I feel super low. I have a really bad week or bad month, bad day the next day, whatever it is, right? So acknowledge the fact that there is this pattern or there's this trend or maybe there's a trigger, and really acknowledge the fact that you're going through this, and then take steps to recover from that. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but uh, what hinders your progress is to say that, oh, don't worry about it, don't acknowledge it. That's really bad, because that actually hinders your progress.
Right. A part of what you're saying, this helps me to define what that was, because I actually was a little apprehensive sometimes to come on my stories and be like, dude,
Yeah.
look, I wasn't getting any sleep. My daughter was up all night. I got a newborn. I'm like, dude,
Oh,
like,
that's
what the heck, man? You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not getting any sleep, but whatever, y'all. Like, this is just what's going on. This is how I'm feeling.
right.
Yes, because sometimes, like you said, the toxic positivity will make people think that, oh no, I have to come across like it's great, like, no guys, let's push. And it's like, I kind of was around something of that nature, and
Yeah.
I realized how much it was making me sick
Yeah.
internally, right? Because it's like, no, you can't be angry in here. You can't come in here and not speak to anyone and be upset. It's like, but I'm pissed. So what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not supposed to feel it. I
Yeah.
get it when it comes to leadership positions. There's a way that you handle it, and there's a way that you express yourself. But when it comes to, no, you gotta put on the face, you gotta do,
Right.
it's like, no, that's not real. That's simply not real. And going in that direction is not healthy, and
Right.
it will make you internally sick, because you're actually suppressing
Exactly.
your real feelings and thoughts.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad you said that, because that helps to articulate a
Yeah.
lot of the things that I was thinking. And I just was like, I'm just being real. That's what a lot of people say. It's like, I'm just being real. And
Yeah.
that's part of it, is being
Yeah.
your authentic self, allowing yourself to feel those feelings.
All right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you can still be an encouraging, motivating person.
Yeah.
But those encouraging, motivating people go through stuff too. Like,
Hmm.
everybody goes through bad days, good days, ups, downs, triumphs, tribulations, and stuff
Exactly.
like that. So
Yeah.
that's really good. And
Yeah. It's
I'm
a
really
relief to know you're allowing yourself to feel the things that you feel, and you feel them for a reason. So acknowledge the reasons behind why you feel the way you do. So it's very freeing to allow yourself to feel that way.
Yeah, yeah, and you get to experience you. It's part
Mhm.
of what I'm building with Mindset Matters. That is to, the quote, helping the world find its purpose. Right. My initial whole thing is to help a person to identify who they are. I'm not the doctor. I'm not the banker. I'm
Right.
not the mailman. It's like,
Right.
no, who are you first? And
Right.
that's a journey in itself. That is a
Right.
whole big
Yeah.
journey in itself.
Finding your passion. Yeah.
But that's it's wonderful. I really appreciate your mindset. I wanted to ask, as far as the different travels and things that you have on your page now,
Mhm.
how do you tie that all together? What how do you tie, hey, this is where I'm at, and this helps me to maybe think better? Or how do you tie the travel and mindset together? What is the, what is the message with that?
So travel is an awesome eye catcher, right? Instagram is always pushing you to find eye-catching moments and things like that. So, but it's a lot more than that too. It's not just eye candy. I think
Mhm.
travel is, I've traveled my whole life, and I know for a fact that it's opened me up into doing things that I never would have done had I not traveled. And so it's given me awesome experiences. It's really opened my eyes up into different parts of the world. The realization that there's people who live so differently in different parts of the world um, has really opened my eyes up into noticing actually there's more that we have in common than we have in differences. And so things like
Mm,
that, it's really helped me grow as a person. It's helped me become more resilient because so many things can go wrong when you travel internationally, and you just have to
mm,
kind of deal with it. If something bad happens, you deal with it instead of
yeah.
stressing about it. Things like that. I mean, small little moments that have added up to resiliency and persistence, and yeah, just made me a stronger person in general. And I love to put that into the realm of mental health because it is improving my mental health. And so I like to kind of tag that together within mental health realm. And within mental health, I love talking about growth mindset in particular.
Got you. And so that's something you would encourage. You would encourage people to travel to
Oh
maybe
yeah,
help better their mindset. Because what you're going to experience a lot of different things. You're going to go
hmm
through a lot of different things that you probably don't see.
yeah,
In different places and different
yeah.
planes, probably, and everything. But
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is losing connection to the world by not having Wi-Fi or not having data. I
wow,
mean,
yeah.
that is the simplest way of really understanding, where do I go now? I don't understand. I don't have a GPS. I don't know where to go, things like that. So how do you get yourself out of that pickle? And
Oh,
and that's resilience. That's what it is.
yeah.
It's learning how to pick yourself up from a tough spot, things like that. I mean, there's so many examples just like that, just like losing cell phone signal. It's just one small little example about travel that teaches you so much. And most importantly to me is just learning about different types of mindsets that people who live across the world from us have. They live so differently from us. They think so differently. I want to explore more, learn more about different kinds of people and how they live and how they think and how they face their challenges. Those challenges are different from the challenges we face here. How did they go about, facing challenges in their day to day, things like that? I mean, that teaches you so much about life. And I'm really lucky that I have a husband that loves to do the same exact thing. And
Yeah,
so we
that's good.
travel. Our plan is to travel the world together.
Oh man, that's so good, dude. That is really, really good, because there's a lot of relationship things
Yeah,
out there. And when you can find someone who's aligned with the
yeah.
same passion, that is a great thing. Congratulations to you
Thank
guys, because
you.
that is hard to find. You guys
It
are
is.
an excellent example to lead a whole new um, a whole new generation, to be able to show them, yo, this is what it can be.
Yeah,
Don't get caught up in all of the crazy and the negative stuff, because that sometimes way overshadows what good relationships can look like. You know what I mean? So That's really great. I'm really happy to hear that you guys are really. How long have you been together?
So we just got married in December. We've been together since 2017, but we just
Okay,
got married in December. Yeah.
got you. Nice. All
Yeah.
right. So, what's the next destination? I guess I'll say, or where's the
Um,
next goal?
Physical or mental destination?
Both. Let's do
Yeah.
both.
So physically, I am traveling to Cozumel next week. I'm working there all week, and so I'll be doing some promos for a company that I'm partnering with, and so it's a sponsored trip, which I'm very fortunate to have. I have partnered with this company called T Spheres for a while now, and they're sponsoring another trip of mine, so I'm very grateful for that. I'll be promoting their products next week in Cozumel. After that, my husband and I, we haven't gotten a chance to go on our honeymoon yet. So we're gonna go to Norway. We're gonna go to Spain in August,
Mm,
and then after that, we're going to digitally work from France and the Netherlands. So that's all we have planned for this year so far. We're trying to go somewhere in December, but up until then, those are the travels that I have. As for my mental, personal development journey,
mhm.
when it comes to growth mindset, I still believe that I am nowhere close to being an expert. So I'm going to continue taking courses. I'm going to continue to educate myself while I teach my followers. Whatever I learn, I try to share as much of it as I possibly can through my reels, through my posts, things like that. In the long term, I would love to see this journey go towards the path of possibly creating a course online. It
Mhm.
won't be a live course, it'll be pre recorded, but I'll have a lot of things such as homework assignments, practices that you can do in your real life to really transition from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So it's not a concrete goal. I don't know if it's actually going to become that, but
Okay.
I would love to see it go that route. I would love to become somewhat of an expert to the point where I allow myself to actually teach other people whatever I've learned through the course. So first step though is to become an expert myself, and so I'm still in that learning phase where I'm growing and I'm learning, and while I'm growing and learning, my page is also growing, and I'm learning from my page. I'm learning from my followers. I'm so grateful that people take time out of their busy lives to come to my page and start conversations with me every day. There's people that are starting conversations with me about a caption that I wrote on growth mindset. I mean, those are small little signs of progress, and I'm just enjoying the journey, and I am loving where it's going and taking me. So
Nice, nice. Are you gonna get on TikTok? Have you been here? I know you've been hearing about it.
yeah, TikTok, I there's been so many people that have like told me, get on TikTok, you can go viral in like a night or something. I
Well,
haven't
not
yet.
like that, but it's just the sheer SEO of it and the
Yeah.
direction that they're going now is the
Mhm.
reason why I really was asking, because I see how rapidly they're changing
Yeah.
and everybody's scrambling to keep up with them. That's the
Mhm.
only reason why I mentioned it, because I'm like, this is wild, man. Like watching that platform evolve from where it was at. Because I mean, I haven't been on there super long, but I remember when it was Musically and it was just like
Oh
just a
yeah.
music thing.
Right.
But for it to have advanced so rapidly in this past couple years, I was just like, whoa, dude, there's something to this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just throwing it out there. But
Yeah, I mean,
how long have
I
you?
have
Oh,
reels anyway, so I might as well upload them twice on two different platforms and
for
see what it
sure.
works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's up with How long have you been on Instagram?
So 2020 is when I started my blog, and it wasn't Nupur Unchained back then. It was simply a travel blog, but then it became Nupur Unchained actually earlier this year. I really started diving deeper into mental health in 2021. So 2021 is when I really started realizing I can't just have a travel blog. I need to make a deeper connection with travel. And
Mm,
so 2021, I started doing that. But 2022, earlier this year, is when I really started putting it into effect and really started focusing more and more into mental health, and then recently growth mindset.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, because that's a pretty cool niche. Like I said, I haven't even thought about like mixing travel with
Yeah.
mindset. That's a really cool combination. So
Hmm.
that's a really good thing. But yeah, I really, really, really appreciate you coming on here and sharing
Yeah.
all of the wealth of information you have. You have a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of travels and stuff too. So where the oh well, yeah, they can find you on Instagram, right? Instagram,
That's my handle. Nupur Unchained.
right, right there. And then you said it started off as a blog. You don't have a website or anything like that where you write
Not
blogs?
yet. So I
Okay.
have been thinking of maybe writing a little bit longer captions and then shortening them for Instagram, but the longer captions would go on a blog that is separate from Instagram. I have been thinking a while to do that because I put so much work into this blog. I might as well write a little bit longer and it can actually become an article that people can go and read. A lot of the people that I am friends with on my travel account, they actually do that. They have separate they have separate websites where they lead the traffic to that website, and
Hmm.
that website is what gives them revenue, and that website is what really represents them as a blogger, not Instagram. Instagram is simply a way for them to gather that traffic and lead them towards that website. So I have been thinking for a very long time to do that. I keep making excuses, there's imposter syndrome and things like that. So a transition into growth mindset tells me now that, hey, there's no excuse. You can't just use I don't have enough time as an excuse, because I do have time. And if I don't have time, I can make enough time
Yeah.
for it. Whatever you want to do, if anything is valuable to you, you will make time for it. And so I keep telling myself that, like, yeah, I might want to do something more with this in the near future. Yeah.
Nice. All right. All right, y'all. Well, I really hope I enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed
Yeah.
watching this and listening to the very wise Newport Unchained. Really, really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your energy with me and the people that decide to watch this. Thank you very much, guys. Just remember to focus on the good. All right. Try and find that out of every situation. All right. And remember that mindset matters more than anything else.
Yep.
All right. Thank you again for being on here. You have any closing remarks?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for bringing me as a guest on your show. I have never been a guest on anyone's show before, so I
Yeah.
am so honored to be here. It's a very special moment in my own journey. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you're freaking amazing, dude. You did really, really good. You did amazingly well. So, I really hope everybody enjoyed that. But yeah, thank you again, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.